Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we're going to be reacting to some interior design TikToks. These are those DIYs that people put on the internet. God bless TikTok. I mean, you give people a phone and internet access and an app, and all of a sudden their weird concoctions that they decide to put on the internet get to be for all of us to enjoy and laugh at. Also, people do actually have some clever ideas, and you actually can learn things on TikTok, and both of those are in this video. But let's have some fun and see what people get up to on the internet. Let's go. Okay, but before we watch some great and maybe even not so great TikToks, I want to take a moment to talk about a DIY that will actually improve your quality of your life, and that is today's sponsor, which is Mr. Cool. They specialize in amazing HVAC systems for homeowners. Now, they make a whole range of products, but they're really well known for their DIY-friendly ductless mini-split system, which can be installed without the assistance of an HVAC professional, assuming that you know what you're doing. So I personally am not very good at DIYs. I fully own that. You guys know that about me. So I think that getting a professional or my dad, in my case, is always a good idea to get somebody to help you out, because there's also tutorials on YouTube and TikTok, and of course Mr. Cool provides them yourself, but you need to be pretty handy. But this is a DIY capable system, which is amazing. I love this product because it heats and cools anywhere from 2 to 5 zones in your home, making it the perfect solution for homeowners like me who want total comfort without the high cost of a professional installation. So if you're interested in a new HVAC system and you are curious, I recommend taking a look at Mr. Cool. You can go to mrcooldiy.com or click on the link that is in my description. So thank you, Mr. Cool, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to those we'll see how good they are TikToks.
I've seen people ordering these faux wooden beams, so instead of paying hundreds of dollars, I decided to make one on my own. So here we go. Let's make one for $11. If you add the paint and the stain that I already had, it would be about $35 total. I needed to cover this electrical where I took this wall down. So I started off by buying a 4x8 sheet of foam insulation board, and I did it 1/2 inch thick. Make sure that you take the plastic off of each side. That's very important. And then I decided to use this Loctite spray adhesive. It did okay. The problem is that it stuck to the plastic that I had down, so I decided to go ahead and use liquid nails on it, and that was a better process. So I did that. I put a little bit of weight on top and a spacer in between. That way it just stayed really square. Once it was dry, I came back in with a wood filler, and then I decided to try out drywall mud, and it honestly worked just as well. I don't know if I have a preference, but make sure you sand it all down so everything's smooth. Then I go in with a latex paint. This one was called Mexican Sand by Sherwin-Williams, and then I go in and I make these little grains. I wanted these to be pretty deep so it looks like real wood. Here's what it looks like after. I used the Minwax gel stain in the color Chestnut, and I did this as 2 coats. Make sure that you put stain on everything and get it really good into those grooves. But I wanted it to be darker, so I went with 2 coats. I left it thicker in some areas so it would look more like a natural wood. And then I decided to beat it up with a hammer. Other than that, I threw it up there and I pinned it in with my nail gun. This thing was so easy. It weighs probably less than 2 pounds. I love the outcome of it.
First of all, I don't know why, but beat it up with a hammer just really made me laugh. I just love that. That's my kind of DIY project. You finish the whole thing, you're like, let's just take a hammer to it. I mean, it can't get any worse. First of all, good job. Love this. Okay, so I have a couple of concerns. First of all, I'm not an electrician. You know me, at this point in the channel, I now have not claimed to be anything, an expert really at anything, like anything. Definitely not electrical. I have concerns about wrapping live wires like in foam and hoping for the best. Girl, sometimes I think we need to question why our budget is $11. Do you know what I mean? Like, the iPhone that you have, that you're filming this on, is worth a lot of money. But meanwhile, for home decor, $11 is our budget. Maybe a stretch to $35 if you don't have the stain. Sometimes I get it. We're all on a budget, and I understand that. But I just think that sometimes it's better to save up for home projects that are gonna last a lot longer. I would love if the new, like, you sold this home and the new neighbors thought that was load bearing, and then they find out it was foam. I just love that idea. I'm concerned about the electrical. I'm concerned this is a fire hazard, and for $11, it's not worth it, because you burn down your whole home with your family in it, and it's just, you're thinking, gosh, if only I had spent an extra couple $100 and think of what I could have done. Think that there's electrical concerns here, as I have mentioned now 3 times, because again, I really think this is a concern before people just start wrapping electrical and not. I have questions about the junction box. I have a lot of questions. And also the technique of just adding groove marks to make it look like wood. Like, does it though? Like, are we lying to each other? Why are we doing this? Here's what I do think actually is a bit of a DIY that I think works better, because I'm not completely mad at the faux beam idea. I do think it's important that an electrician is consulted in situations like this. But if you are going to wrap it in some sort of material rather than get an actual like beam that's gonna like fall down on something and be structural and blah, 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 I actually think that like engineered hardwood, like wood flooring is actually better. I've seen better applications where people use wood flooring that is a little bit farmhousey, a little bit beaten up, has grooves because it's actually real like wood veneer sitting on top, right, of an engineered hardwood. It's lighter, it's not gonna be a full beam, right? Like it's gonna just be the same sort of box idea, but I think that's gonna be a lot more effective. You know, going down, you can go to Restore, like which is a Habitat for Humanity store, or you can go to lots of different places and get sort of a one-off piece or some pieces of wood flooring that I think is gonna do a much more effective job for probably not a whole lot of money in the greater scheme of things to kind of more mimic the look of a wood beam, assuming that it's like you've got the structural situation and the electrical situation sorted through. So I'm going to say this is a skip for me because you're gonna burn your house down and no one believes that your foam is a real beam. Those are my concerns there. Okay, let's move on.
I don't have to try to be the one. Celebrity chewing on a bit of mint leaf in a routine story.
This one has to be a joke. There is no question. Come on now. First of all, the Scandinavians, I can already, first of all, like they're already in the comment section all the time at how I pronounce the the IKEA names, even though they are like the first in line to always say that they really don't care that I mispronounce the names because who really cares in the end? But this is not Scandi. This is the opposite of Scandi. Scandi is calming. Scandi is minimal. Scandi is like relaxing. It's neutral. It's natural. It's not this cluster of appliances. What happened to you? Like, why did this seem like a good idea? There has to be a joke. There's no way this person, honestly, you could chat GPT what is Scandinavian design and very quickly figure out that this is not it. Taking off all your doors is a horrible idea. Open shelving is, generally speaking, I didn't bring it up. These are all chosen by Eden, okay? These are not chosen by me. I haven't seen these actually. I actually did see that one ages ago, but not because I knew it was in this video, just because it came across my For You page. But this one, yeah, this is not a good idea. This is not something that I would consider. I don't think open shelving is a good idea in large doses. Taking off your kitchen cabinets is so obviously stupid. This is horrible. This is a horrible, I don't say that often, but I really genuinely think this person is obviously knows what they're doing and they're doing this to get hate in the algorithm. They're probably just like taking off their doors to paint them and then they thought, hey, look at this funny reel. I have to think that's true. But honestly, at this point, I'm not surprised by anything.
Controversial, but a lot of people were obsessed with these original features in the 1930s home I purchased, including these original floor tiles and glass stained doors. Sorry to disappoint, but I personally think these glass stained doors look better in the skip. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my decision or would you have kept them. I really don't think they match the interiors I have planned for the rest of the house, so they had to go.
So I actually commented on that video because I had seen that one before. Again, Eden picked these out, but honestly, we just like share reels to each other all day. That's kind of our job. Like well, it's not really, but like that's what we do. So I think I sent this one to her ages ago and she put in this, I commented on this because just a crying emoji. That's all I did. Because listen, I think that obviously do what you want, but let's all consider the fact that if you don't want an old house, don't buy an old house. Now, look, like if it's your budget and you buy a house that's really old or whatever, like it's the house you have and what have you, then yeah, I guess in the end, of course, you can legally do what you want, but ethically, question whether you should. Because these old houses are really adorable. Now, they might not be your taste. They're not always really my taste, to be honest. But I just think like buying a really old house from like 100 years ago and then taking out all of the character and then just putting in, listen, I don't want to be super shady, but like, I'm just gonna say it. Generally, some of the most generic fixed elements you could have possibly imagined in their place just isn't the right idea. Like, I think that there's so many people that would just kill for some of these like stained glass windows and beautiful old tiles and things, and now you just threw them in the garbage and replaced them with something that you found at Home Depot. Listen, I don't want to be super shady for what she chose. She's like, great, she loves what she loves, and that's great. But why did you choose that home then? Like, why did you buy something from 100 years ago? Like, here's the thing, I live in a home that's like, no one's gonna miss when I knock this house down. I'm a contemporary person, okay? So I actually totally get not wanting squeaky old staircases because that's just not my vibe. Like, that's just me. I know who I am. And so I bought a house that when I knock it down, no one's gonna miss it because it's pretty ugly. And that's fine because I didn't buy a house, which are so common as neighbor. I'm looking outside my window. There's houses here from like 100 years ago, you guys. I didn't buy those houses because I knew that what I was going to do to them is like ruining their heritage and their character. Or I could take them and put in a style that never really felt mine. So that's why I have made the decision, which albeit is a privilege because obviously like not everybody gets to build their own home. I super get that. But I chose because I have this is my plan is to, renovate or build a new house. That was always my objective, to buy something that I could do exactly what I wanted and not ruin the character of these like 120-year-old houses that are in this neighborhood. So for me, that was the right move that I had made. And I just think if you're gonna like strip all the character out of a house, then don't buy that house. But also obviously you can do whatever you want. I would say I'm torn, but I'm not torn. I think you should just like have just bought something a little bit more generic that no one would have missed. No one would care if you took out 1970s vinyl flooring. Do you know what I mean? Like no one really cares. But a stained glass window from 130 years ago, that doesn't go in the garbage. I'm sad now. Okay, let's move on. I thought those were all AI. Like I've seen so many of these stupid like dragon fireplaces and like giant ape sofas. I didn't think that was real. I didn't think people actually bought those things. What in the AliExpress is this? Like this is I didn't realize. First of all, instant grounds for divorce. Annulment, actually. I don't even think you should call it a divorce. I think that's grounds for annulment. The marriage never happened. I'm sorry. You don't get to put in that giant ape sofa. That's the one piece he chose. This is why, gentlemen, I'm not to say, she could be married to a woman, and I don't actually know, but I'm going to assume that she's married to a man because only a man would, let's be honest, pick a giant stupid ape for a sofa. Sorry, gentlemen. Like, it's true. Let's be honest. Let's not lie to each other. Knowing that, this is why you don't get to make choices. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the choices in home interiors and design, it's not a right, it's a privilege. So if you're not part of the conversation, it's because you choose stupid things. And if you chose better things, then your input would be taken into account into the home. And that is how I feel. You know what I mean? It's something that you need to earn. And this does not earn the respect that means that you are now an equal player in the conversation of what else we should do with the home. So now you've lost all privileges. She will never trust you again and we're done. I sincerely thought that was an AI couch. I didn't realize that was actually a real thing. This makes me actually sadder than the stained glass, to be honest with you. I like that one, that's clever. Sorry, I'm like, when it comes to TikTok now, I'm like so impatient. I'm like these like calm, surreal sort of creators. I'm a little bit like, let's keep it moving. I shouldn't be like that. I should just calm down and let people have their space and not be so scroll happy. That one was super adorable. So that one's cute. See, that was a man and he came up with a really good idea. The respect is earned. Now you have a seat at the table. You know what I mean? So that one's really clever. I think like I never even thought to put the pegboard on rollers. What other things could we put on sliders now? There's lots of different things you can do. Slider shelves, slider things in cupboards, I've done that before, but like there's lots of different things. I feel like you could just be sliding all sorts of small little areas. That's really clever. I like this one. Slider pegboard thing. Slider pegboard man, you get my approval. I like this one.
Do you know how you're gay? Because none of your overhead lights are on. Not one. Probably not even in your bathroom. I know that I am in a gay person's house when I cannot see.
That was a trending audio for a while and I really do enjoy it. The gays like soft lighting. We know it's flattering. We are quite aware. Diffused, soft, ambient lighting is always a good idea. Dimmers, shades, paper pendants, all cute. Task lamps, different varying lighting sources. Like the gays understand lighting, okay? We like to look good. We like to have things, like the way it's flattering. We're just looking for flattering, okay? And generally the like hospital lighting, the all white lighting, the like one light bulb in the center of the room, the boob light, none of these things are flattering, right? Like, so we're looking for ways to diffuse, soft lighting so everybody has a really good time. If that means you can't see anything, yeah, that probably makes sense, you know, but it's in our DNA. It's just what we know. Sorry, it's a talent. We just have it. And I agree. I agree with this TikTok. It makes sense. Which one is my favorite? None of them. Decorating your toilet is sort of like fridgescaping, which I have talked about in my last TikTok video. We talked about fridgescaping, and I also talked about it as a trend that I cannot stand, which still is true. No, I don't think that toilets are ever... Toilets don't need to be decorated. They are at their best, in my opinion, when they are easy to clean, minimal. They don't have the worm, which she has the worm. I hate the little worm down the side. I can't stand the worm down the side of a toilet. I have frequently mentioned that I prefer ones that are clean on the side. I find them easier to clean, like physically easier to clean. And they also just look more pleasant. They just look minimal. A toilet is something that everybody needs to have because everybody poops, okay? We all know that. But now from there, we need to downplay it as much as possible. It's not something to be made pretty. It's something that just basically needs to be as minimal as possible. A wall-mounted one is fantastic because it's easier to clean underneath it, right? Easier just to get under there with your little mop. Fantastic. Ones, again, where they're on the side are also quite nice because those are also easier to clean. We're looking for easy to clean and maintain, minimal, unassuming. We don't want to make a statement with our toilet, and we absolutely do want to put stupid frogs and bunny rabbits on them. This is beyond ridiculous. But you know what? If it brings her joy, then I guess good for her. I agree. What was with that lighting fixture? My guess, first of all, we all know what it reminds us of, right? It reminds us of the donut lamp, the Verbalix or whatever it's called or something from IKEA. That's what it kind of reminds me of, that sort of orange glow. I think with this person's maybe the reason why is because I think that particular Dunkin' Donuts looks like it sort of belongs in the 90s because it probably hasn't been renovated since 90s, maybe early to mid 2000s there based on just kind of looking at the decor. And the thing is that like the brightly colored vinyl chairs have not come back in style, but a lot of the lighting fixtures and stuff from that time period have. So I think the reason why that person is kind of like, why does this work and this doesn't? It's because I think that certain styles go in and out. Some things become more popular again, some things don't. And some things, when you look back, you're just like, that was ugly in the 90s, or at least trendy in the 90s, but probably ugly. And maybe it's like come back around, and some things just haven't come back around. You know what I mean? Like there's some things that are just truly hideous that were like, take like, what's a good example of something really 90s? Like Ann Getty's posters, you know what I mean? Like those are really trendy in the 90s. They have not come back around. They're just not as popular as they used to be in sort of the 90s, early 2000s, right? Sometimes styles just don't come back from the dead, and that's probably a good thing. And some styles, like wide leg pants, do come back from the 90s, and all of a sudden now, like they were popular then, and you know what, they're back again. Like when I worked at Lululemon back in 2005, oof, God, that dates me. The most popular pants were called the groove pants. You may not know that because, well, it was back then a really small local sort of Canadian brand, which I'm rocking my Canadian here today. Actually, this is Lululemon. And you know what, they had those, and they were like the most popular pants ever, and everybody was like, that was the pants everybody had to have. It was like literally 90% of our pants sales came from that one thing. And I sold so many of those groove pants back in the day, and then they disappeared and everyone went with leggings. And you know what's back now? The groove pants again. They're back again. Those same pants are back. So like, that's how styles work, right? Sometimes some stuff goes in, some styles go out and they stay out. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the lights. So the lights have come back. Those club chairs have not.
The worst interior makeover captured on TV.
What the What? Hell to the no. I'm sorry. Where is the pool table?
The pool table is right there. This is just a topper. It comes right off.
Okay.
She was absolutely shocked.
So it's great for your grandson. And it's, you know, multi-purpose.
I'm about to pee myself. Literally.
You're about to what?
Pee myself.
Okay, something else I really want you to see is they did do a really cool bar over here. Your old cabinets and shelving things that they've retrofitted and recreated out to make a whole bar area.
This is fine. I love this. But all I asked for was a Prince room.
She got your little red Corvette in here.
The walls gotta go. This is disgusting. We got a lot of work to do.
Crystal was concerned that you wouldn't like it.
She should be.
I think people sometimes forget how amazing Trading Spaces was back in the TLC days. Yeah, it was crazy. It was wild. That must have been Hildy, because no one does a design like Hildy. Do you remember when she put straw on the wall? Like, I mean, or the floor? Was it on the floor or the wall? Probably everywhere, let's be honest. I think she just glued straw. It was insane. It was DIY. It was crazy. It was TikTok before it was TikTok. You know what I mean? They should bring it back. I would love to be the host. I am just putting my application forward if TLC would like to redo, if you would ever like to do a similar show, because the host, she handled that very well. I'm not sure I would have, but I think I would have had a really good time. I love that show back in the day. It really did change the game, you know what I mean? And it really did, it was ahead of its time, I think, in a way, you know? But this was back in the days of like Shock Television and like Maury and Jerry Springer and stuff. Like, it was like Conflict. Wasn't it the Learning Channel back in the day? TLC used to be the Learning Channel. No one was learning on that channel, let's be honest. Those are fun times, but you know, alas, they are gone. But if they'd like to redo, I'm putting forward, like, where do I send my resume?
Buy the weird stuff. Buy the stuff that makes people go, what is that? Buy the stuff that makes your home the best estate sale when you die. Buy the weird stuff.
So, I know what you're probably thinking, that I'm just gonna like go after and say that all that stuff is trash. And I will just say that it's not my taste, and that's okay. We're like allowed different tastes. Make fun of stuff all the time that I don't like on my channel. Absolutely. Do I like anything in that home? Probably not. But when she says buy the weird stuff, I mean, I would say probably it's like, if it makes you happy and brings you joy and it's cohesive and it's like all the different design rules apply, like things are to scale and it's cohesive and it's balanced, and you know, there's certain design principles that just sort of like make sense, good space planning, whatever, that are just like always, it's true for any style, then yeah, go ahead. You know, if that's what you love and you like sitting there, I find for me, that would be overwhelming. And I think for a lot of people, it doesn't work for a lot of people. So buy the weird stuff if you love weird stuff. But if you don't like weird stuff, then don't, and put it away. But you know what? If that stuff makes people comfortable in their homes, then that's fantastic. Maybe what's gone into me today? I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm a little bit nicer on that last one than I probably should have been. I feel like you caught me at a different day and I would have just torn it apart and thought it was hideous. But I will say this, and you know, again, with me, just wait a couple hours and maybe I'll be in a different mood. But I'll say buy the weird stuff if you love weird stuff. If you don't, and you probably don't because that's not most people's style, then if that's not the mood that you want to create, then move along. In my opinion, it's a chaotic hot mess. In her opinion, it's a cute little treasure trove of fun oddities. Potato, potato. Okay, so that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link here to my last TikTok video. So if you like to see other weird TikTok things that people do and my colorful commentary, then by all means, then go click on that one. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.